Testing 1 2, testing 1 2, audio test.
Testing 1 2, testing 1 2. Testing 1 2, testing 1 2.
It's the Southern Ohio Copperheads and the Licking County Settlers here at Big Red Stadium in Granville, Ohio. Can the Copperheads defeat their rivals, the Licking County Settlers, for the first time this year? We'll find out in all the action going on today. A good afternoon and welcome to the broadcast booth. My name is Sedric Granger and I'm joined as always by my friend and colleague Tim Hanna. And Tim, Copperheads have really struggled against the Settlers this season. Again, this is a series where they're playing this team 9 times. You can't drop all 9. You cannot afford that at all. So how can the Copperheads get a win against this tough Settlers squad?
Well, they're going to have to come out and they're going to have to pitch really well. We saw yesterday in the game, gave up those 5 runs in the 4th inning and really put the game out of reach. Offense has been slow the last couple of days, and they really have to rely on that pitching to set that solid foundation, as they haven't been hitting very well, not scoring a ton of runs. So keeping that pitch count super low, throwing strikes, not loading up a bunch of guys on base because of walks is going to be huge for this team.
Yeah, and they're going to have a guy on the mound who does throw a fair share of strikes. It's Sean Peck. He has an 11-6 strikeout to walk ratio, so that's pretty solid still. Getting in the territory where at least it's not even. You have about 2 times as many strikeouts as walks. And going against a Settlers squad with a lot of hot bats, it's going to be a struggle. But I know Sean Peck, he has had great games. We've seen him against the Hamilton Joes in relief and be able to excel there. So we hope we can get a solid start out of him today, as the Copperheads come into this game with an 11-16 record, sitting at 7th place in the GLSCL South. They're going against the 2nd place team right now in the Settlers, who are looking to take back that top spot. The Hamilton Joes took it from them yesterday by beating the Copperheads, and now the Copperheads have control of if the Settlers can go and jump the Joes.
Yeah, if the Settlers are able to come away with both wins today, they'll really be in the driver's seat, sitting atop of the GLSCL South, as the Hamilton Joes play a couple of different guys the rest of the year, but the Settlers are going to get really familiar with the Copperheads, so that if they can get a couple of these wins early in the series, they're really going to be in a good position to make a playoff push.
Yep, so there's 11 games left. Copperheads play the Settlers 6 out of the last 11, so should be some good action. Copperheads right now, they have an opportunity to be a snake in the grass, so to speak, and have a chance to upset some of the top teams in the GLSCL. So when we come back, we'll have the Copperheads and the Settlers live from Denison University. Afternoon has turned into evening here at Denison University as the Southern Ohio Copperheads take the road here to face their rivals, the Licking County Settlers, two teams that will see each other a lot. And again, we've only seen each other 3 times so far this season, but there's 6 more ahead. So it's exciting to see how these two rivals will shape up as, once again, it's Sedric Granger joined by Tim Hanna as the Copperheads look to try to get win number 1 against the Settlers. The first 3 games were all Settlers as the Settlers won the first matchup here at Denison 11-1. The second matchup 11-9 in a game where the Copperheads almost came back. And in the third game, Settlers were able to win 13-6 on that Sunday matinee game. On the mound for the Settlers will be Owen Little, a guy who struggled a little bit this year with a 16.2 ERA, 9 strikeouts to 9 walks, and he had a real rough out against the Scouts, only pitched 2 2/3 innings and allowed 7 runs. 7 of those were earned. So, Tim, it looks like there may be some opportunity for the Copperheads to really get some momentum with their bats.
They are. They're going to have to continue to play like they played during that 4-game win streak against the Scouts and the Mariners and the Cincinnati Steam. They're not going to be able to win this game if they come in and don't score runs today. Left quite a few guys on base yesterday, most notably leaving the bases loaded in that 8th inning. Weren't able to score any runs. And Sedric, they're just quite frankly not going to be able to do that if they want to win this game, the next game, or any of these games against the Licking County Settlers, a team that scores a lot of runs night in and night out.
Yeah, they sure do. They're averaging 11 2/3 runs per game against the Copperheads this year. So they've been an enigma for this pitching staff of the Southern Ohio Copperheads. Sean Peck is getting his first opportunity to go against the Settlers today. So maybe he'll match up a little bit better against some of the dangerous batters on the Settlers squad. So Copperheads will be batting first here in the top of the first inning. It'll be a 7-inning affair as we have a doubleheader today. So I'll get to play-by-play the first game, and then Tim will call the other game, as it'll be Carson Shepard batting first, followed by Ashton Bam Thomas, Kyle Ratliff batting third, Josh Steidel batting fourth, Mason Adoni fifth, Maverick Stalling sixth, Sebastian Silva seventh, Diego Ortiz eighth, and Ian Crump ninth. So that's your order for today for the Copperheads, looking for win number 12 here on the road. And it'll be Owen Little getting ready to throw the first pitch to Carson Shepard. First pitch, he's going to foul it off into the woods for strike number 1. Carson Shepard batting .262 on the year, 5 RBIs driven in. And he's just been a guy, Tim, that's really been seeing the pitches really well coming to him. And he's done a great job of asking umpires what the strike zones are going to be.
A guy that's really good at getting on base, too, as well. Really high on-base percentage and has done that all year. So Coach continuing to put him on the leadoff spot or even on the bottom of the lineup to hopefully generate a little bit of generate some base runners there at the bottom of the lineup.
So the 0-1 pitch was off the mark. The 1-1 pitch is going to be a fly ball up into center field where Adam Crawford awaits, makes the catch, and that's 1 down here in the top of the first inning. Still no score as we are just getting started here at Denison in this matchup between the Copperheads and the Settlers. So Carson Shepard flies out to center field, and that'll bring on Ashton Bam Thomas. He broke out of a 5-game hitless streak where he had a really rough go of things for a couple of games throughout the start of July, and then was finally able to get that hit against the Joes.
He was hitting the ball really well yesterday against the Hamilton Joes. I believe he might have even had an RBI yesterday, one of the runs that scored. But, yeah, he played really well yesterday and was seeing the ball really well, something that he hasn't done in the last couple of games. And finally, those adjustments are coming to life.
The 0-1 pitch is off the mark for ball number 1, so the count is 1-1 to Bam Thomas, who's batting .183 on the year. He's driven in 4 RBIs on the season. Did have that one big home run against the Richmond Jazz, and that was a big reason why the Copperheads were able to win that game on the road. As the pitch from Little is hitting the outside of the zone for strike number 2. So now it's 1-2 to Bam Thomas. Not going to have our graphics here for today as it is a hotter day, and whenever the day is hot, that means our technology has issues. So we're doing our best to try to get things working here. As we'll see the 1-2 pitch. That it skips across the ground into the glove of Austin Davison for ball number 2, as we'll adjust the camera a little bit. Appreciate it, Tim, so you guys can try to get the best view here as the Copperheads are wearing their black jerseys with orange trim, and then you'll see the Settlers in their navy jerseys as Bam Thomas fouls out the 2-2 pitch, so they'll stay at 2-2. There's one down in the inning. Carson Shepard flied out to Crawford at center field. And there's no score here in the top of the first as the defensive alignment for the Settlers, Swanger, Crawford, Hill are in the outfield. Lukac, Rando in the middle infield with Johnson and Ohashi flanking the first and third, and Austin Davison at catcher. I will see the 2-2 pitch on its way from Little, and it's going to be chopped through the middle, and it's going to get out to Lukac, who fields it on 2 hops and delivers it out to first base in time to Caleb Johnson for 2 outs. So 2 runners up, 2 runners down, and that'll bring on Kyle Ratliff, the most dangerous bat for the Southern Ohio Copperheads.
Kyle Ratliff, been a guy that has been able to get it done all season for the Copperheads, hitting .309 now, so we've progressively seen that batting average go up in the last couple of days, 25 RBIs, and has hit 3 of his 6 home runs have been game winners this season.
Just 1 away from tying Blaine Krim's record, but when I talked to Kyle, he is really set on breaking that record, and he'll take the first pitch to the outside of the zone for strike number 1 as Owen Little doing a good job of working those corners. So now it's 0-1 to Ratliff as he does a little communication with the umpire to try to figure out the strike zone here as Little sets up on the mound, delivers the pitch. That time it is low and outside for ball number 1. So the count is 1-1 to Kyle Ratliff in a scoreless game. 0-0, top of the first inning. It's a 7-inning affair as we'll have a doubleheader, so lots of baseball, at least 14 innings coming at you. We might see a doubleheader, or might see a sudden death like we did the last time we saw a doubleheader as Kyle Ratliff fouls off the 1-1 for strike number 2. So it's 1-2 now to Ratliff as he's batting .309 on the year. And, Tim, we were talking about the other day how he was trying to chase Austin Deering with the home runs. He was able to do that. And Austin Deering had 27 RBIs at the time. Ratliff only had 19, and seeing if he could chase after that. And right now he has 25 RBIs as he takes the ball number 2. So now the count is 2-2 to number 2, Kyle Ratliff, in the scoreless game. Little sets up on the mound with nobody on, delivers the 2-2 pitch, and it's going to be a fly ball out to Crawford at center field. He moves a couple paces to his left, makes the catch right in front of the track, and that's 3 runners up, 3 runners down for the Southern Ohio Copperheads as nobody's able to get on and everybody's retired. Carson Shepard goes on a fly out to center. Bam Thomas grounds out to shortstop, and Kyle Ratliff flies out to center field. So when we come back, we'll see Sean Peck for the first time on the mound, and it'll be followed up, and he'll battle against Turner Hill, Jack Rando, and Drew Garf, the 1-2-3 batters of the Licking County Settlers. Once again, there's no score here from Denison. You're listening to Southern Ohio Copperhead Baseball on YouTube. It's the bottom of the first inning here at Denison University. The Southern Ohio Copperheads and Licking County Settlers are tied up at 0. And we'll see Sean Peck on the mound as the bottom of the first inning is presented to you by Ohio Health. Always want to give a shout out to our sponsors. They've been fantastic throughout the entire season. So the Copperheads have taken the field for the first time. And Tim, what's the alignment looking like for the defense of the Copperheads?
Fairly straightforward lineup for the Copperheads. Not too many changes. Bam Thomas at first. Mason Nadolny returning after getting a couple of days off to get back healthy. He's at third. Sebastian Silva behind the dish. Maverick Stallings, Carson Shepard in the middle of the infield. Ian Crump, Kyle Ratliff, Diego Ortiz out in the outfield. Josh Steidel will be DHing today, and Gunnar Aldrich gets the afternoon off.
And for the Settlers, it'll be Turner Hill batting first, Jack Rando batting second, followed by Drew Garf, who's on a hot streak, Logan Swanger, Junpei Ohashi, Nick Lukac batting sixth, Caleb Johnson batting seventh, Austin Davison eighth, and Adam Crawford 9, rounding out the lineup for the Settlers squad, looking to get back to first place in the division. Them and the Joes have been jockeying, as the Settlers do have the tiebreaker on the season series, which may be one that is for a playoff spot, at least as it stands right now. We'll go over the full standings after we see the first pitch to Turner Hill, the senior from Marietta College in Heath, Ohio, and takes the first pitch for a ball from Sean Peck, wearing number 6 today. Usually wears number 4, but with the Copperheads alternate black jerseys with orange trim, he's rocking the number 6 jersey. As we see the 1-0 pitch is hitting that outside of the zone, as the umpire being pretty consistent here. His outside of the zone, it looks like he's giving a little bit more space to the pitchers.
Yeah, well, that's one thing that has happened in the last couple of games is we've seen a bit of a discrepancy between different umpires and their strike zones. So
1-1 is a drive out to left field where Ian Crump doesn't even have to move to make the catch. So that's 1 down in the inning, and that'll bring on number 1 Jack Rando out of Belmont University, a sophomore, batting 143 on the year, no RBI. So looking for that first RBI for number 1 Jack Rando. Sean Peck already with a nice solid start here. It's his first time playing against the Settlers, and he's had a decent season, had some really good games. Of course, the biggest one was that game number 2 against the Joes, and he's more of a relief guy, but has been forced to move to the starting position as he delivers the first pitch on some breaking ball action that breaks perfectly for strike number 1 to Rando. The 0-1 pitch, outside and low, and that's going to be ball number 1. So the count is 1-1 to Jack Rando in a scoreless game here in the bottom of the first inning. Copperheads trying to move up the standings a little bit. They trail the Jazz by just a game and a half. See the 1-1 skip across the ground and into the glove of Sebastian Silva for a ball. So the count is 2-1 with 1 out in the inning. Jack Rando up to bat for the Licking County Settlers with nobody on. The 2-1 pitch is way inside. Rando has to scoot back to avoid the ball there. So now the count is 3-1 to Rando. Copperhead sitting at 7th place behind the Jazz, who are in 6th, Mariners in 5th, Scouts in 4th, Steam in 3rd, and then Joes and Settlers are at the top of the division right now. The class of the South at 1st and 2nd. The 3-1 skips across the ground outside and low. So that's going to be a walk for Sean Peck.
Something this team is going to have to limit in today's game if they want to keep this one competitive. We saw quite a few walks yesterday in that game. So Sean Peck, a guy that knows how to throw strikes and just needs to settle into this one, and I'm sure he'll take care of business, but something that he can't let get ahead of him early in this game.
Yep, and he'll have to recover from it real quick because Drew Garf is up, who has batting .293, but he has 3 home runs in the last 7 days, batting .421. He's been absolutely dominant for this Settler squad. He'll work with 1 runner on and take ball 1. So the count is 1-0 with 1 runner on in a scoreless game here in the bottom of the first inning between the Copperheads and the Settlers. So again, Settlers wearing their navy jerseys, Copperheads in black and orange. So for you guys on camera, just looking for that orange trim, it's going to be the big difference between these two teams. The 1-0, it's going to be popped out right over the head of Nadolny into shallow left field. Ian Crump's going to have to run for it, and it's going to be Garf getting to first, Jack Rando getting to third, as runners will be on the corners now for the Settlers as the bats are starting to get it going here in the bottom of the first inning.
You saw that ball kind of die when it hit the grass out there in the outfield, and I think Ian Crump out there thought it was going to roll closer to him, so he took his time a little bit getting to it, but Rando able to hustle out for that one and get an extra base on that.
Yeah, quite impressive piece of hitting there for the Settlers, who really started fast against the Copperheads in every matchup that they played. And now we have another dangerous bat here in Logan Swanger, as he is the reigning Offensive Player of the Week in the GLSCL. He had some competition, but was able to win it. He's doing a little bit of everything, pitching and hitting, but he takes strike number 1 there from Sean Peck. With runners on the corners, Garf at first, Rando at third, in a scoreless game. Settlers trying to change that, though, here in the bottom of the first inning.
It'd be huge to get an out here and halt the momentum of this Settlers team before things get out of hand.
Yeah, big moment for Sean Peck as he delivers a pitch. It's a swing and miss for strike number 2. It was a good job working the inside of the zone there that time, and he got Swanger swinging on that strike or that 0-1 pitch. So now it's 0-2 to Swanger. Once again, Garth on first, Rando on third. Scoreless game here at Denison University. Big Red Field. Home to the Licking County Settlers this year, as well as Heath High School, which will be where the Copperheads will play them later in. As we see the 0-2 outside, as Swanger showed some good discipline on the plate there, not to swing at that one. So it'll be 1-2. Copperheads are 0-3 once again against the Settlers this season, and they will play 9 times. And a tiebreaker I figured would be very important at the beginning of the season. It still holds true, as if the Copperheads can find a way to win 5 out of their next 6 and win this series, it could be a lot of it could do a lot for them in the playoff rankings, as well as the top 2 teams in the South make the playoffs. Copperheads in 7th. They can go on a hot streak throughout these last 11 games. It'd be phenomenal. But Tim, you'd have to think they're running out of time. You got to win these 2.
Yeah, if you get swept tonight or even split, really, it's going to be very, very difficult for this team to be able to get back into the race.
Yeah, that's going to help their case, though, as Sean Peck delivered a strike. That was strike number 3 to Swanger, so Swanger goes down swinging for out number 2. Runners remain on the corners, and that'll bring on Junpei Ohashi, one of the newest additions to the Settlers. He's batting .277, driven in 6 RBIs for the man from Marshall, Missouri. Did see him in the last game that the Settlers came to play the Copperheads. It was a very tough game, as the Copperheads played the Joes the night before and then had to come back the next afternoon at 1 o'clock to play a Settlers team that was coming off of a day of rest, as Sean Peck delivers the pitch that hits the outside edge, just a little bit outside the zone for ball number 1. So it's now 1-0 to Junpei Ohashi. Settlers coming off of a 6-game road stretch where they went 4-2, as we see the 1-0 pitch fouled out for strike number 1. Went 4-2 on the stretch. Very, very impressive to do that on a road stretch. And happy to be back at home, as Copperheads, Ice Haulers, and Settlers will play a lot of games against each other. We'll see a lot of those guys, as the Settlers will also go up to Sandusky to play the Ice Haulers, just like the Copperheads will at the end of the week. We see the 1-1 pitch go across the ground into Silva's glove for ball number 2. In this scoreless affair, you have runners on the corners, Drew Garf at first, Rando at third. With 2 outs in the inning, Sean Peck with a chance to potentially get out of the inning and leave some runners on, something the Copperheads will have to do if they want to stick around and not vacate an early lead. The 2-1 is off the mark inside for ball number 3. So now the count is 3-1 to Ohashi.
Copperheads sitting 5 games back out of first place in the GLSCL South. So realistically, you're talking about going on a 4, 5, even 6-game win streak to get back into the mix here late in the season. Lots of teams aren't going to see a variety of opponents anymore. So really being able to do everything that you can do to win these games down the stretch, especially obviously taking 3, maybe even 4 from the Ice Haulers, as well as beating the Steam later this week, and then, of course, staying competitive, winning 4 or 5 of the next 6 against the Settlers.
For lack of a better term right now, the Ice Haulers are the coldest team in the league, as they are 2-8 over their last 10 games. So if they continue to stay cold, the Copperheads may have an opportunity up north and Sandusky to steal 1 or steal 2 wins. But we'll see the payoff pitch coming, as Ohashi fouled off the 3-1, so it's going to be 3-2. So we have a huge at-bat. 3-2 pitch, runner goes. It's off the mark, and that's going to be a walk. So second walk of the inning here for Sean Peck, and the bases are now loaded. Garf advances to second, Ohashi to first, and that'll bring on Nick Lukoc, the shortstop from the University of Dayton.
Going to have to get an out here, allowing a run and going down in the first before most of your guys even get a chance to face the pitching staff of the Settlers. Going to have to try and hold in this one.
Do a correction on that name. It's Nick Lukoc, from what we've heard here in the press box. I want to give a shout out to Andrew Allison, Cade Williamson, as well as Dave, the PA announcer. Always great every time we play the Settlers, as we see the first pitch up high. So ball number 1 to Nick Lukoc. Lukac batting .256 on the year and has driven in a very impressive 16 RBIs. So very productive season for a squad that puts up a lot of runs. I mean, in their last game, they put up 18 on the Jazz as we see the 1-0 pitch in for a strike, working that low portion of the zone, as this would be huge if Sean Peck can find a way to strand those 3 runners on base.
The Settlers, one of the hottest offenses in the entire GLSCL, and a team that knows how to score a lot of runs really quickly.
1-1 is a swing and a miss there from Junpei Ohashi, or from Nick Lukac, rather. So now the count is 1-2. And Sean Peck can close the door right here. Copperheads pitchers have been allowing way too many 2-out rallies over the last few games. Can Peck change the narrative? And it's going to be a fly ball into right field for a base hit. And that's going to score a runner. And will it score 2? Garf comes in, and no tag at the play. So Garf comes in, as well as Jack Rando on the 2 RBI single from Nick Lukac. Tough, tough break there for the Copperheads.
Really well hit ball out into right field, and Ortiz just not able to get over to it in time. Good job by Ortiz, though, to keep it in front of him and prevent those runners from advancing any farther than they did.
So with 2 outs, it's a 2 RBI single for Nick Lukac, scoring Jack Rando and Drew Garf. And you have now Ohashi on second, Lukac on first, as the score is now 2-0 here at Denison. And now Caleb Johnson playing in his first game as a Settler. Fouls off the first pitch to him for strike number 1. So the count is 0-1 to Caleb Johnson from Purdue Fort Wayne. And it's from Illinois, finding himself a place to play some summer ball. 2 runners on as we see Sean Peck on the mound deliver the 0-1 pitch. It's going to be hit out to Nadani, who picks it up, throws it out to first base to Bam Thomas for out number 3. So good work from Nadani, showing why he has a 100% field percentage on the year. But the Copperheads still yield 2 runs to the Settlers as Garf and Rando came in on an RBI single from Nick Lukac. So going into the second inning, Copperheads are down 2-0 to the Licking County Settlers. You're listening to Southern Ohio Copperheads Baseball on YouTube. The Southern Ohio Copperheads and the Licking County Settlers from Denison University as the Copperheads trail 2-0 going into the top of the second inning. Once again, Sedric Granger joined by Tim Hanna as the Copperheads look to try to pull off win number 1 against the Settlers. The Settlers have beaten them 3 times. As Little delivers the first pitch to Steidel, it's going to be chopped out to the second baseman, Jack Rando, who throws it with no problem to Caleb Johnson for out number 1. So 4 straight runners retired here for the Copperheads as they've really got to start getting something going earlier in games.
They have. Something that we saw last night in the game is that they got off to a really slow start offensively, just wasn't able to find those gaps in the defense, and then scored that run in the 4th and then allowed those 5 in the bottom half of the inning, and then was just really never able to get those bats lined up and hit opportunely and just wasn't able to get things done last night. So going to have to consistently get guys on base and then consistently score those guys if they want to get the win here.
So Copperheads trailing 2-0, as that'll bring on Mason Nadolny, who had the first pitch fouled for strike number 1. Now the 0-1 pitch is outside and low for ball number 1. As Mason Nadolny returns to the Copperheads lineup for the first time since July 1st. It's been a minute since we've seen him, but he is an all-star and has the highest batting average on the team with 326. So we'll see if he can come through here as he takes the 1-1 pitch outside for ball number 2. So the count is 2-1 to Mason Nadolny in this 2-0 game here at Denison. Settlers lead after putting up 2 runs in the first inning. Copperheads trying to respond. 2-1 is on the money this time for strike number 2. So Nadolny will have to work here against Little with this 2-2 count. Definitely some heat out there as Owen Little looks to throw some heat as the 2-2 pitch is in there as they got Nadolny looking. So that's 2 runners up, 2 runners down once again for back-to-back innings for the Southern Ohio Copperheads, and that'll bring on Maverick Stallings, the shortstop, where he had a pretty good day yesterday, went 1 for 3 with an RBI against the Joes, one of the only RBIs of the day. So Copperheads will need Maverick Stallings to come through to break this hitless streak they have right now. See the first pitch. It's going to be chopped over to third base. Ohashi fields it, tries to get it there. It is not in time. No, it is in time as Ohashi was able to get it out to Caleb Johnson. And I thought Maverick Stallings might have made it, but I guess he fell just short, Tim.
Yeah, he hustled that one out trying to get all the way down to first base, but the Copperheads are going to have to start running this pitch count up of Owen Little. Only thrown 21 pitches through 2 innings now, and we'll see a situation similar to what we saw with a couple of other guys. You look at guys like Gabriel Torres and a couple of those guys who have thrown complete games against the Copperheads, as they're able to get him first pitch swinging, second pitch swinging, and slow choppers or things of that nature, and they're able to stay in the entire game. So they'll have to start running up that pitch count if they want to get out and at least give themselves a chance, maybe see a couple of different arms from the Settlers.
Yeah, Tim, and with these doubleheader games, they're very expedited as you only have 7 innings to work with, so slow starts can be even more detrimental to a team than they would be in a normal 9-inning affair. So with that said, going into the bottom of the second inning, the Copperheads trail 2-0 here on the road against the Licking County Settlers. You're listening to Southern Ohio Baseball on YouTube. It's the bottom of the second inning here at Denison University. Copperheads trail 2-0 to the Licking County Settlers. And the bottom of the second inning is presented to you by Jackie O's. If you haven't tried out the Homer's Hazy IPA, what are you waiting for? For Copperheads fans over the age of 21, enjoy that beverage. As Sean Peck will deliver the first pitch outside for ball number 1 to Austin Davison, who is due up this inning, as well as Adam Crawford, Turner Hill. Those guys are the 8, 9, and 1 in this lineup for the Settlers, who were pretty successful that first inning, forced a couple of walks. And we're going to need Sean Peck to throw a couple more strikes as we see the 1-0 pitch off the mark once again for ball number 2. The Copperheads trail 2-0 here on the road at Denison. They'll play another matchup on the road against the Settlers, but at Heath High School, a team I covered for Gridiron Glory back in the WUB days I had during my sophomore year. As we see the 2-0 pitch fouled off by Davison for strike number 1. So it's 2-1 to Davison. And Sean Peck does have a strikeout on the day, but has 2 walks. Davison batting 125 on the year and a trio of RBIs as the 2-1 is up high. Silva puts his leather up there to make the catch, but it will be ball number 3. So it's 3-1 to Austin Davison with nobody on in the bottom of the 2nd inning. Copperheads trailing 2-0. Sean Peck delivers, swing and miss there for strike number 2. So now the count is 3-2 to Davison. We'll have a payoff pitch coming up, and we saw that in the last inning as well, where the Copperheads had an opportunity to close the door on the inning and close the door on a batter, and it just didn't work out. Can Peck do it? The 3-2 is going to be popped up high up into the air. There's going to have to be some communication. Silva makes the play and makes the catch for out number 1. So 1 runner up, 1 down now here in the inning, and that'll bring on Adam Crawford.
Peck going to have to start looking to try and get some quicker outs in this one. Pitch count already up in the 30s. Only in his 2nd inning of work here, so going to have to start figuring out how to get quick outs if he would like to stay in this one for much longer.
First pitch to Adam Crawford is up high as Silva gets out of his squat position a little bit to make the catch for ball number 1. Crawford batting .256 on the year, 7 RBIs, attends California University of Pennsylvania, which has been changed now to the University of Western Pennsylvania. Andrew Allison, let me know about that fact, as the 1-0 is going to be hit right down Broadway into center field for a base hit. So that'll be a single for Crawford. So Crawford is on in this 2-0 game. Copperheads trail right now and looking to keep the score at 2-0 to give themselves a chance to continue to dig out of this hole. Settlers thinking the opposite, trying to increase this lead. And they'll go back to the top of the order with Turner Hill, who had a fly out to Ian Crump at left field the last time he was up. First pitch, it's off the mark to Hill. Ooh, it does hit the edge of the zone there. So strike number 1. So much needed strike thrown from Sean Peck. So he had a couple in a row that were off the mark. So it's 0-1 to Turner Hill. First pitch to Turner Hill, or second pitch to Turner Hill rather, is too high. So it's 1-1 to Hill. Turner Hill attends Marietta College from Heath, Ohio. It's funny how he's from Heath, as there is a guy on the team for the Settlers named Heath Mann, and he ironically does not attend Heath. As we see the 1-1, it's going to be a pop fly out into left field. Ian Crump is there, makes the catch, no tag, and Crawford will have to go back to first. So that's 2 down in the inning as Turner Hill flies out to Ian Crump, the exact same thing he did the first time he was up. And that'll bring on Jack Rando, who had a walk the last time he came to bat for the Licking County Settlers. Once again, Copperheads wearing black jerseys with orange trim, gray pants, green caps. Settlers in their navy uniforms. Let's look on the screen here and see how that looks for you guys. I think you guys can tell the difference here. Just look for the blue trim versus the orange trim as we see the first pitch outside and low for ball number 1 to Rando. Copperheads trail 2-0 as they've given up 3 hits. There's 1 runner on at first. It's Adam Crawford at first. And now we see the 1-0 pitch fouled off into the woods as the count is 1-1. Tim, this field really has the kind of similar vibe to what we saw in Xenia, where it's a very serene, very natural backdrop to this field.
It is kind of hidden in the woods a little bit too, and get all the trees off to the side, and of course the very nice backdrop.
Runner goes. The throw is going to be off the mark, and it's going to get through. So the runner will be safe. Adam Crawford is able to steal second. But the pitch was off the mark for a ball. So tough little bit of a series there for the Copperheads as they allow Crawford to get to second, but are not even able to get a strike out of that. As Rando is up with a walk. He had the first run of the day, scoring on the 2 RBI single. Garf, who had the second run of the day, is on deck for the Settlers, up 2-0 and trying to add on to the lead. Sean Peck looks back now steps off the mound to gather his composure up. Does have a strikeout on the day. He's looking for another one. 2-1 pitch. Off the mark, it's inside for ball or number 3. So it's 3-1 now to Jack Rando.
Sean Peck going to have to locate the zone here. Don't want to add another guy up to base.
3-1 hitting the inside of the zone for strike number 2. And once again, Sean Peck with a situation where he can get out of the inning and try to shut the door. We'll see how he comes up in this big spot as it's a 2-0 lead for the Settlers. Copperheads with a chance to get out of the second inning. Full payoff pitch. It's going to be a drive into right field, and it is down for a base hit, something the Copperheads could not allow. That's going to be another run. That's Crawford coming across. And now it looked like you have the runner in between first and second, but he does go back. So Jack Rando is safe on the RBI single. And the Copperheads, in a moment where they could have shut the door, weren't able to close it. They left it open, and they got burnt.
Nice throw from Diego Ortiz out there into right field and kept Rando at first base. He got about halfway there when Ortiz got the ball and put it on a rope to Carson Shepard there at first base. So good job by Ortiz to get that ball in as quickly as possible and not allow an extra base for Jack Rando.
Ortiz playing in his last game today as a Copperhead as he'll be headed back to UAB coming up tomorrow. As we see the first pitch to Garf, he swings on and misses there for strike number 1. Garf picked up a big single out to left field the last time he was up, and he'll try to get another base hit as he'll work with one runner on. That's Jack Rando at first. Sean Peck looks back to first, now delivers the pitch, and it's going to be popped up foul back towards the Denison softball field and falling harmlessly in the wall for strike number 2.
To the Settlers dugout. Thank you.
So here we go, Tim. Once again, we got another spot where we can be able to escape the inning with only one run given up, as it is a 3-0 game now here in Granville, home of the Licking County Settlers. Peck sets up at the mound. Runner thinks about going. Now he does, and it's going to be a drive into center field, and it goes over the head of Maverick Stallings for a base hit. And Rando advances to third, Garth to first. And now it's runners on the corners yet again. It's a little bit of deja vu here for the Settlers.
Rando got a really nice jump on that one, kind of hesitated, and then as soon as Peck turned his head back to get the signal from Sebastian Silva, he took off, so had a really good jump on it, and then obviously the bloop single out into center field advanced him up to third base.
After seeing a pair of singles, Sean Peck will now face against the guy that he struck out the last time he was up, Logan Swanger. Swanger at a Tiffin University from right around here in Newark, Ohio. And we'll see if the player of the week or reigning player of the week here can come through with runners on the corners. And also got to be aware we might see a stealing attempt from Garth as we see the first pitch, fly ball way up in the air. Stallings looks like he calls for it, makes the catch, and the Copperheads are able to force a couple of runners to be stranded on base. But not before they could allow one run. It was Adam Crawford coming across on the RBI single from Jack Rando. So Copperheads trail 3-0 going into the top of the third inning. Due up will be Sebastian Silva, Diego Ortiz, and Ian Crump. When we come back, you're listening to Southern Ohio Baseball on YouTube. It's the top of the third inning here at Denison University. The Copperheads trail 3-0 to their division rivals, the Licking County Settlers. Settlers, once again, looking to take back that top spot in the division. They are 16-12 on the season, 7-3 in their last 10. Copperheads are 11-16, and they are on a 2-game losing streak and trying to snap it, as we'll see the first pitch to Sebastian Silva, low and away for ball number 1. As Little still on the mound, working into his third inning. And whenever you have these doubleheaders, Tim, I think it's always a great idea to try to get your guys to try to go a complete game, or at worst, only use 2 pitchers.
Well, it's something that we saw against the Xenia Scouts. The last time we were up there, Gilkey came in. It was only a 5-inning game, but Gilkey came in through 5 complete innings. And then, of course, the oh, goodness, what was the, it's escaping me now, the next doubleheader. Oh, it was the Xenia Scouts. Yeah,
we had multiple
apologies.
Xenia Scouts ones.
Yeah, then the next time against the Xenia Scouts, Colin Ryan came in and threw a complete game in that one as well.
Sebastian Silva was hit by pitch, so he's on first base. And now we see the first pitch to Diego Ortiz off the mark for ball number 1. Ortiz, like I said, as well in the bottom of the second. Ortiz playing his last game as a Copperhead, so we expect to see a lot of them today. So he went 0 for 2 against the Joes, has struggled from the plate, but has been really solid on the defensive side of the ball out in the outfield. He had his best moment of the season against the Grand Lake Mariners in that 14-3 win. Ortiz had an RBI single, which ended up setting up the situation where Kyle Ratliff hit a grand slam to walk it off. 2-0 pitch is inside for ball number 3, as Little's been a little bit off the mark here in the top of the third.
Struggling a little bit to find the zone. He's favoring that inside part of the plate. Must be something with his timing, but that's a lot of inside pitches.
3-0, tips across the ground, and it looks like we'll see if the Copperheads take advantage, as it will be a walk. So Sebastian Silva decides just to run over to second base, take his base, and Diego Ortiz advances to first. So now the Copperheads are in a little bit of business here, as Diego Ortiz walked. Sebastian Silva was hit by pitch. And now Ian Crump will try to get things going. 3 guys with some of the lowest batting averages on the team really coming through for the Copperheads.
Going to be critical here for these guys to not get caught stealing. And then, of course, the guys that are coming up after him now to be able to drive these runs across. Still down 3, and we're already about halfway through this game, Sedric.
First pitch to Crump. He has a great bunt out to third base. Crump is racing towards first, and he's out. But not before each of the runners could advance on the fielder's choice. So Ian Crump doing his thing there with the bunt. So only 1 down in the inning, and now Silva and Ortiz are in scoring position for the Copperheads.
Yeah, now we're going back to the top of the lineup. Carson Shepard, a guy that, as we've said time and time again, a guy that just knows how to get on base. So that would, in fact, load the base for Bam Thomas after that. So Copperheads in a really good position if they can at least get 1 or 2 runs scored before the next out is recorded.
What you can't do, though, is leave people on base. We saw the Copperheads leave 3 yesterday, and that really cost them in that matchup against the Joes, where they lost 9-2. First pitch to Shepard is low and away for ball number 1. It's again Silva on third, Ortiz on second. Silva was hit by pitch, Ortiz walked, and then Ian Crump delivered a great bunt, which resulted in a 5-3 fielder's choice. And now Shepard in situation here to potentially drive home a runner. He has 5 RBIs on the season, as he'll take the 1-0 pitch here from Little, coming up with 1 down in a 3-0 game in favor of the Licking County Settlers. The 1-0 is going to be chopped right over the head of Little, the pitcher. It's going to get out into the outfield. Both runners are going to be instructed to go. Silva crosses the plate. So does Ortiz. It's a 2-run RBI single for Carson Shepard. And, man, Tim, he's been on fire over the last few games.
Copperheads needed that one desperately, and Carson Shepard picks up his 6th and 7th RBI on the year. Couldn't have come at a better time. And now keep this game within a manageable reach here with still only 1 out, and we'll look to continue to do damage.
Yeah, it was one heck of a chopper as it hit right in between the pitcher's mound and home plate, bounced right over the head of Little, and then it went through shortstop and second base as the runner will go. Carson Shepard racing towards second, but the ball is fouled out by Ashton Bam Thomas for strike number 1. Bam Thomas, the last time he was up, he 6-3 grounded out in this now 3-2 game. Copperheads only trailing by 1. As there's only 1 down in the inning. Good opportunity here for the Copperheads to try to tie something up. Or try this game up. That's the something. As we see the 0-1 pitch from Little outside for ball number 1. So the count is 1-1 with number 1, Carson Shepard, on first base. Lots of ones out here. As we'll try to see which team is number 1. 1 hit for the Copperheads, 5 hits for the Settlers. As we see the 1-1 pitch, Bam Thomas showing some good patience, takes the curveball down low for ball number 2. Copperheads, once again, picking up the 2 runs on an RBI single to center field by Carson Shepard, scoring Silva and Ortiz. Great to see Ortiz get a run there as he's playing in his last game. Of course, wants to have a good send-off. As we see the 2-1 is going to be chopped in between third base and shortstop for a base hit. Shepard trying to take advantage. He's going to third. There's going to be a throw. It's going to be a play at the plate, and he is out. Carson Shepard tried to take the risk there and make it all the way to third base, but was caught. Bam Thomas goes back to second base. So it's a single, and then on the throw, Bam Thomas was able to take advantage there and get to second base.
Tough play on that one, Carson Shepard. One of the quicker guys on this team, and that ball really started to slow up when it got into the outfield grass right in front of Swanger. And I think the decision was to kind of try and beat that out a little bit because that ball had died as soon as it hit the grass.
And tough fortune there for the Copperheads as they've left a couple of runners on base. We are runners in situations where they probably would have scored if they would have stayed on their original base. We saw Trey Rucker yesterday go for third base and get tagged out as well. As Bam Thomas at second, as Kyle Ratliff laces that one out into left field. Bam Thomas getting his sign. He's going to try to run home. The throw's going to be there, and will he get tagged? He tries to slide out of the way, and he can't evade it. So although Ratliff picked up the double, it won't matter as great plays at each of the bases and at the plate have resulted in the Copperheads side being retired. But the Copperheads at least able to put up 2 runs there in the top of the third. And when we come back, they'll try to keep this game at 3-2 so they can try to complete the comeback. You're listening to Southern Ohio Baseball on YouTube. It's the bottom of the third inning here at Denison University as the Copperheads trail 2-3. The bottom of the third is presented to you by OUCU Financial, where you belong. So Copperheads able to put up 2 in the top of the third, but one problem they've had all season, Tim, is whenever they put up runs in the top of the inning, they've been vacating and allowing runs in the bottom of innings.
Sean Peck went into the bullpen during that half inning, top of the third inning, to kind of just get back stretched out. He's been looking a little bit uncomfortable, and he went in there with Matt Friesen, one of the bullpen catchers, and went and just worked things out a little bit, got stretched out a little bit more, threw a couple extra pitches just to make sure that he's ready to go here. But this is a huge inning in this game for the Copperheads.
Shunpei Ohashi is up and takes the first pitch down low for ball number 1. Ohashi, the last time he was up, he was walked and then retired at second base back in the bottom of the first inning, as this game is 3-2 here in the bottom of the third inning. It's a 7-inning affair. This game is going to be a lot quicker, so Copperheads won't have as much time here to work with. Neither will the Settlers as well, as the Copperheads had a very frustrating end to what was otherwise a pretty solid top of the third inning, getting guys out on tags at third and at home, as you see that one way inside for ball number 3, as see Ohashi kind of jumping back there. So now the count is 3-0, 3 pitches, 3 balls. We'll see if Peck can dial up a strike. 3-0 pitch. Once again, too far inside. So that's ball number 4. So for the second time today, Ohashi will walk. That is the third walk of the day. And that'll bring on Nick Lukac, who had a single and picked up 2 RBIs as it scored Rando and Garf. Again, Copperheads trailing 3-2. They also trail in the division by a couple of games here, as they have 11 wins. And the Settlers have 16. Joe's sitting at first with 17 wins. And on the other side of things, you have the Michigan Monarchs at 20-10, as they've been impressive. 9-1 over their last 10. You'll see the first pitch thrown up for a ball. Good work from Silva, being able to at least threaten the throw to first base. Bam Thomas awaits at first base, as there's one runner on in Ohashi. Nick Lukac up to bat with a 1-0 count in a 3-2 game here on a beautiful, beautiful evening in Denison. 1-0 off the mark and low for ball number 2. So 6 straight balls thrown there from Sean Peck. And it looked to dial up that strike. It'll mean a lot for momentum and a lot just for confidence as well, just to get that first strike there. As we see the 2-0 going to be laced out into left field. Ian Crump is there, makes the catch, 1 down. And we see Ohashi escape back to first base.
Big couple of outs coming here for the Copperheads already in the bottom of the third inning. We'll only have 4 more chances to bat after this, so they're going to have to hold this team, who, as we've already seen in this game, can change the scoreboard with just a couple swings of the bat.
That'll bring up Caleb Johnson, who hit into a 5-3 fielder's choice. Now he's going to hit it right in between the second base and third base pass and out to left field to Ian Crump for a base hit. So that's going to put 2 runners on. Ohashi advances to second. Caleb Johnson picks up the single. So that's his first hit of the day. And now that'll bring on Austin Davison, who had a fly out to Sebastian Silva for out number 1 of inning number 2. So he'll work with 1 down in the inning. Sean Peck working into his third inning, trying to keep the score at 3-2. The Copperheads are very much still in striking distance. And if they can keep it low scoring, sometimes that can work to their strength. They have won a game 4-0, also won a game 5-4, as we see a foul ball right to the right side of the press box. If our press box was a goalpost, we would have said that was wide right. So Austin Davison is now down in the count 0-1. Hashi on second, Caleb Johnson on first. And now we see a strike delivered from Sean Peck. So first strike he has thrown, but will be the second strike of the at-bat after the foul ball. So now it's 0-2 to Austin Davison. Sean Peck with a chance to potentially get his second strikeout of the day. See what Sean Peck can do here on the mound with 2 runners on, 1 out. Bottom of the third inning as we see a chopper. Sean Peck tries to field it, delivers it out to first, and it is in time to Bam Thomas. So it was a little chopper that just stayed fair. Peck does a good job showing the focus to get his glove up and scoop the ball and get it out to Bam Thomas. Each of the runners advanced, though, on the fielder's choice.
Kind of rolled around a little bit, too, stuck in that turf, and Peck did a really good job making sure he got a clean look on that ball and or avoid not making an error, which would have likely scored a run from third base.
Ohashi's on third, Caleb Johnson on second, and that'll bring on Adam Crawford, who hit a single the last time he was up, and he was able to get all around the base pass thanks to Jack Rando's single to right field. In a 3-2 game, 2 outs, bottom of the third inning, Copperheads put up 2 runs at the top of the inning here, and a lot of the times this season, whenever they put up runs, it seems like the other team responds in the bottom of innings with runs of their own. So if the Copperheads can shut the door here, finish them off in this third inning, retire the side, it'll be huge for the bats of the Copperheads in terms of being able to come back. Easier said than done against the Settler squad. We'll see if Sean Peck can finish them off. First pitch thrown in for a strike to Crawford. He has Ohashi on third, Johnson on second, trying to drive in some runners. The 0-1. This time it is outside. Adam Crawford won't go after that one, so the count is evened up at 1-1. So this matchup number 4 between the Copperheads and the Settlers will play 9 times over the span of the year, and we'll see a lot of each other throughout these final third of the season as we'll see a deep drive out to Kyle Ratliff, and that's no problem for him as the center fielder makes the catch, and the Copperheads do a good job of leaving 2 runners on by the Settlers. So big momentum here in the third inning for the Copperheads, and they'll have a chance to take the lead when we go to the top of the 4th inning. It'll be Josh Steidel, Mason Nadani, and Maverick Stallings, the 4, 5, 6 batters in the order for the Copperheads as they trail only 3-2 here at Denison. You're listening to Southern Ohio Copperhead Baseball on YouTube. It's the top of the 4th inning here at Denison University. The Southern Ohio Copperheads trail the Licking County Settlers 3-2. And it'll be Josh Steidel getting it started here in this inning. He grounded out on the first pitch back in the top of the 2nd inning. As once again, I'll remind you all, this is a doubleheader today as we'll have 2 7-inning affairs as Little still on the mound delivers the first pitch outside. Catch made by Austin Davison, but it will be ball number 1 to Josh Steidel, who's batting .292, working his batting average back up to 300 almost, as he's on a hot streak, batting .375 over his last 7 days, and he'll pop one out deep to right field, and it looks like there'll be a couple of guys out there underneath it. It'll be Turner Hill coming up with the catch, and that's 1 down in the inning.
We'll get to see Steidel start in the GLSCL All-Star game tomorrow down at Presco Park in Mason. It should be a really fun time. Full day of baseball, of course. Andrew Allison, the Licking County Settlers broadcaster, will be on the broadcast, as well as Luke West-Poley, the Hamilton Joes broadcaster. Sedric Granger will be doing some writing. Skylar Watts will be doing some social media. I'll be out working somewhere in the ballpark, not quite sure where yet. It should be a great day of baseball. Free admission, free food. Overall, just fun day for the Midsummer Classic.
It should be. And speaking of Mason and speaking of All-Stars, All-Star Mason Nadoni flies it out to center field. So that's 2 down in the inning. So it's about as good of a segue you could set me up there for with both it being in Mason, Ohio, and Mason Nadolny being an all-star. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that than leading into that. But he'll go down on the fly out to center field as Adam Crawford made the catch. And it'll be Maverick Stallings, the shortstop, who had a ground out to third base last time that he was up. So we see the first pitch there to Maverick Stallings. Off the mark, in there for strike number 1. He's in a pattern right now where he gets 1 hit in a 3-game stretch followed by no hits for a 3-game stretch and has now had hits in the last 2 games. So theoretically, he should get 1 hit in this game if the pattern were to continue, as we have now a 1-1 count. 2 Stallings from 1-1 the pitcher, number 11, Owen Little, and that one skips across the ground for ball number 2. So 2 balls, 1 strike, 2 outs in a 3-2 game. Copperheads trail the Licking County Settlers here at Denison. See the 2-1 pitch. It's going to be a pop fly out into left field. Logan Swanger is there. And he makes the catch for out number 3. So we see a trio of flyouts going down the numerical order, F9, F8, F7. And that retires the side for the Copperheads as they're not able to eat into the lead anymore. They're only going to be down 3-2, though, as we go into the bottom of the 4th inning. It'll be Turner Hill, Jack Rando, Drew Garth, the top of the order here for the Licking County Settlers. You're listening to Southern Ohio Copperhead Baseball on YouTube. It's the bottom of the 4th inning here at Denison University. The Copperheads trail the Settlers 3-2. The bottom of the 4th inning is presented to you by Ohio Health. So we have a new pitcher on the mound here for the Southern Ohio Copperheads. It's number 37, Dylan Herner, who has a ERA of 7.36, thrown 7 strikeouts, 7 walks, and he's making his 7th appearance. He had a stat line that was a little bit misleading when he played the Grand Lake Mariners, as multiple errors from his fielding team really prevented him from getting out of the inning, as he pitched 1 2/3 that game, only allowed 2 runs, both of them being earned, 2 hits, 2 walks, 1 strikeout, and did pick up the loss in that Grand Lake Mariners game as he came into the game when the Copperheads had the game all tied, and then the deficit was made in that inning when the Mariners took the lead, as we see. First couple of pitches, in for a strike and in for a ball to Turner Hill. So we'll see the 1-1 hitting the inside of the strike zone for strike number 2. And like you said, Tim, one of the keys for Herner here is just throw some strikes. I mean, that's what pitching is all about, honestly.
Able to rely on his defense to make the plays behind him. We know defensively what these guys can do. So if Herner can limit those walks and Just put balls in play. Make the hitters work for it.
Well, a hitter did just work for it and got it as Turner Hill delivered a hit out into right field. Ortiz picks it up and then is able to throw it out to Shepard to prevent any more bases being taken there. But that's one base, a single for Turner Hill, as we've seen a bevy of hits here from the Settlers. As if you look at the spray chart, it'll be all over the place as they've been working right field, left field, center field, a little bit of everything, even some bunts in the infield. As we'll see Jack Rando up, who's had a great day. He has a walk, a single, a run, and an RBI. So a little bit of everything for number one, but he takes the first pitch for a strike. So the count is 0-1 to number one, Jack Rando.
Lots of breaking action on that one. Cut on that inside. Broke just in a really good spot for ball number one.
The Tennessee native takes the 0-1 pitch. That's off the mark for ball number one. So the count is 1-1 with one runner on. That is Turner Hill at first base. It's a 3-2 game. Licking County Settlers, who are batting, are up by one against their rivals, the Copperheads. The 1-1. Off the mark. Looks like the runner will go. Silva's a little shaken up. And it'll be a stolen base for Turner Hill as there isn't a throw. But Silva looks like he's a little bit shaken up.
Silva been getting beat up a lot this year. Working, trying to work on that catching, and seen a couple different scarier type injuries this year. Getting rattled a little bit, so hopefully he is okay down there on the field.
Yeah, Silva's tough as nails from the Virginia Military Institute. Out here at catcher has been getting a lot of playing time recently, as we've seen Steidel sometimes move to first base, also work as a DH, and we saw Friesen move to the inside as coaches loved getting Silva a lot of reps. As we'll see the 2-1 pitch with now one runner on second, and it's going to be Lace out to Maverick Stallings at short. He's going to field it on two hops, deliver it out to Bam Thomas, and it will be in time for out number one. So it's Hill on second, Rando going down on the 6-3, and that'll bring on Drew Garth, who has a pair of singles, one to left field, one to center field, and one run on the day.
Final stat line on the day for Sean Peck: 3 innings, 6 hits, 3 runs, all 3 of them earned, 3 walks, and 1 strikeout. Faced 16 Licking County Settler batters.
With one runner on second, leading 3-2, Drew Garth takes the first pitch way outside for ball number one from Herner. Pitching his first inning here from the man from Fairborn.
Teammates with Jordan Long and Andrew Yeary, Edison State Community College.
And good work from Bam Thomas on the ground out there as he is able to field that one with a lot of heat. Usually the third base line is known for being the hot corner, but this time the first base line was the hot corner as Bam Thomas fielded it very well for out number 2 on the ground out. As I'll make a correction there, Hunter from Michigan. His teammate Yeary is from Fairborn, as both wear numbers right next to each other, 37 and 38, and also attend Edison State Community College. So with 2 down in the inning, we saw Turner Hill advance to third as a result of the ground out by Garth. And that'll bring on Logan Swanger, who has a strikeout and a fly out. And he'll take the first pitch, check swing, but it's right there on the money in the zone for strike number 1. So 0-1 with one runner on in scoring position, third base. There's been quite a few runners left on base, which has prevented this game from getting out of hand. It's good work from the Copperheads, and they're going to need some good pitching as well as some good fielding to see if they can close out this inning, as the 0-1 is up high and in that top corner. If it were a clock, it'd be at 11 o'clock, and that is ball number 1.
Getting through this inning again without allowing another runner to come across the plate and keep this game at 3-2 is going to be huge for the Copperheads. They'll have the bottom of the lineup coming up where they saw a little bit of success in that first inning.
Pass ball issue, and that's going to result in a run. Turner Hill coming across and taking advantage of the mistake. It was a hit by pitch, and then it kind of ricocheted all around. We'll see if they actually make Hill go back. It looks like they will make Hill go back, as they call it a hit by pitch instead of a pass ball or a wild pitch. So good break for the Copperheads there. Swanger will get to first on the hit by pitch. Unfortunately, the Copperheads don't give up a run there.
Yeah, that's finally a nice break. I thought the announcer's jinx was going to come back and get me. once again, like it has so many times this year.
Oh my gosh, it's a disease more potent than the pandemic of COVID-19, as we've jinxed a lot of times throughout this whole year. Sometimes we even use it in our favor, maybe jinxing the other team. We'll see if it works out here against Junpei Ohashi, who takes the first pitch outside for ball number 1. With 2 down in the inning, Logan Swanger at first, Turner Hill at third. Settlers up 3-2 over the Copperheads in this 7-inning affair as we are halfway through. So we'll have a game at 5 that just started, and then we have a game at 7 later on, as we're going to see a high pop fly. It looks like it'll stay in the infield. Stallings calls it, makes the catch, and that's 3 down in the inning. The Copperheads retire the side without giving up any runs in the 4th. So the Copperheads will have a chance to try to take the lead once again, and it'll be the 7, 8, and 9 in the lineup. Sebastian Silva, Diego Ortiz, and Ian Crump. When we come back, you're listening to Southern Ohio Baseball on YouTube. We've made it to the top of the 5th inning here at Denison University, Big Red Stadium, home to the Denison Big Red. But today it is the home of the Licking County Settlers, who are up on our Copperheads 3-2 on a day where there's a good amount of people here at the field. We looked at attendance numbers. We even played the game we call the attendance rivalry yesterday between the Hamilton Joes and the Southern Ohio Copperheads. But in the top of the 5th inning, the Copperheads will need to get at least 1 or 2 more runs if they're going to want to find a way to come out on top, as it'll be Sebastian Silva, Diego Ortiz, Ian Crump who will be up. Sebastian Silva took a hit by pitch back in the 1st and then misses on that bunt for strike number 1. So Silva's had to take quite a few hits. We saw him get shaken up a little bit at his catcher position and then was hit by pitch earlier. So again, taking a couple of shots here today, but still out there going to bat, showing his toughness, as we'll see the 0-1 pitch from Little.
Silva, one of the guys that scored in that 3rd inning and got the day started for the Copperheads. He and Diego Ortiz came in off the Carson Shepard single. So we'll see if these guys can get back on base and bring it back up to the top part of the lineup.
Feel the temperature sort of starting to increase here in the press box. Hope it's not increasing on the field as we see the 1-1. Looks like it hits the outside of the zone to Silva. That one was very close to being outside. You saw a little bit of a break in that ball to hit just right for strike number 2. So now it's 1-2 to Mr. Sebastian Silva, who his last time out was in the Grand Lake Mariners game. He went 0 for 4. And looking to try to get a hit here. He gets a little piece of it. So we'll stay at 1-2. Copperheads, they were able to get runs by Sebastian Silva and Diego Ortiz off of a 2-run RBI single from Carson Shepard. And then we saw a lot of the scoring in the 1st and 2nd inning from the Settlers when they took a 3-0 lead. Copperheads trying to complete the comeback a bit as Silva got a good piece of it, but it does go foul going out of play before it reaches first base. So it'll stay at 1-2 as Silva's doing a good job keeping the count up here from Little, as Little's gotten away with a couple of innings where he didn't even have to pitch 10 times.
Yeah, 7 pitches in that 4th inning. Got through this really quickly. Now already 5 pitches in this inning.
The 1-2 way, way up high as Silva had to duck down underneath that ball. Good work from Davison, the catcher, to get his glove up out there and prevent a pass ball. The count is 2-2 with nobody on, nobody out in the top of the fifth inning. Copperheads trail 3-2 against the Licking County Settlers. See the 2-2 pitch. It's going to be chopped right behind the pitcher. Owen Little. It's going to be fielded by Brando, and he's able to get it in time to Caleb Johnson for out number 1. So we were talking about the last inning where the Copperheads went down on an F9, an F8, and F7. Now we see a 4-3 as we're hoping for a 6-3 if the Copperheads were going to get out at any point just to keep the number order going. But one thing that would be better is if the Copperheads can get a hit, and we'll see if Ortiz can provide it on his last day here as a Copperhead. As he had a walk the last time he was up and now takes the first pitch outside and up high for ball number 1. So it's 1-0 in a 3-2 game in favor of the Licking County Settlers, looking to take back the top spot. Copperheads looking to be the snake in the grass and try to catch them sleeping and pull off the upset. The 1-0 is outside and high for ball number 2 here on beautiful evening out here in Granville, Ohio, just about 25 minutes northeast of Columbus. So close to my hometown in New Albany is the 2-0 pitch. Inside, it looked like it hit the foot of Ortiz. And we'll see if that hit him. Will not go down as hitting him. So the count is 3-0 to Diego Ortiz of University of Alabama at Birmingham, playing for the Blazers. The 3-0 pitch outside. So that's 4 pitches from Little, and that's going to result in a walk. Ortiz getting to base for the second time today.
Getting things started early. And if Ian Crump able to get on base, that'll be 2 guys on with only 1 out for that top of the lineup again, something we saw them have success with in the 3rd inning.
Could be the end of the day for Little if we see head coach there for the Settlers coming to have a conversation with the squad, and it will be the end of the day for Owen Little. So we'll have a new pitcher coming out here for the Licking County Settlers here in the top of the 5th inning. Copperheads still trail 3-2, but have 1 runner on, a chance to potentially tie it or take the lead. You're listening to Southern Ohio Copperhead Baseball on YouTube. We're back in the top of the 5th inning here as the Copperheads have 1 runner on in Ortiz with 1 down here in the top of the 5th, trailing 3-2 to the Licking County Settlers. And for the first time for the Settlers, we see a pitching change, Tim.
Brian Perrone, Seton Hill University, Murraysville, Pennsylvania. 7.63 ERA on the year, 0-2 record.
Now batting for the Copperheads.
Strikeout to walk ratio 17-16.
So it seems to be a mixed bag. The Copperheads will look to try to make them 0-3 on the year. Ian Crump will be the first batter that he faces as Perrone sets up and delivers his first pitch to Crump, and it's going to skip across the ground for ball number 1. So it'll be 1-0 to number 1-0 in number 10, Ian Crump. Ian Crump, last time he was up, hit into a 5-3 fielder's choice, which was very productive because it got both Ortiz and Silva in scoring position as Perrone delivers the 1-0 pitch off the mark, once again missing low for ball number 2. Fairly evenly matched game. It looked like it was going to be all Settlers at the beginning, but as we've, for lack of a better term, settled into this game, Copperheads have been able to hang around as we see the 6, 4, and 3 to retire the side. It's a double play as Ian Crump hit it right out there to Lukac, who got it out to Rando at second, and Johnson at first to retire the side. So Copperheads, right when it looked like they were going to be in business in the top of the 5th inning, the double play retires them as they only have 2 more chances to bat, as the Settlers will try to increase their 3-2 lead when we come back. You're listening to Southern Ohio Baseball on YouTube. We're in the bottom of the 5th inning here at Denison. Copperheads trail the Settlers 3-2. Bottom of the 5th inning is presented to you by Jackie O's. If you haven't tried Homer's Hazy IPA for all the Copperheads fans over the age of 21, what are you waiting for? Enjoy that beverage. So Jared Oaks, the new pitcher on the mound, delivers the first pitch up to the Nick Lukac for strike number 1. So good start from Jared Oaks, who's coming to the game, making his 9th appearance. He did have a save earlier this season, and we did see him for a little bit against the Grand Lake Mariners, where he pitched 1 1/3 innings, gave up no runs, none earned, only 1 hit and 1 strikeout. So it's a very productive day for him. He came into the game with the bases loaded and was able to close the door. You see the 1-1 pitch. It's going to be a deep fly ball out on the left field. Ian Crump running back. Is he able to make the catch? Yes, he does. He gets his leather up there and makes a phenomenal grab with his left hand. 1 down.
Nice play, kind of falling back into that. I don't think he quite saw that one come off the bat as well as he might have wanted to have, but great job by Crump, made the adjustment and stepped that one out to be able to make the play on that.
Ian Crump's been a busy man out in left field. He's had to make a couple of plays, 4 of them to be exact, on fly balls, and he's done very well each time. As now Caleb Johnson will come up, who has a fielder's choice and a single, as he'll absolutely lace one into foul territory out into the trees for strike number 1. He got a good bit of that ball. Fortunately, it stayed foul for the Copperheads. A ballpark with 400 feet out to center field, 330 out to left and right is your dimensions. As Oaks sets on the mound, delivers the 0-1 pitch off the mark, outside for ball number 1. So 1-1 with 1 out, nobody on in the bottom of the 5th inning in a 7-inning affair, as this is game 1 of the doubleheader between the Copperheads and the Settlers. The 1-1. It's going to be a fly ball out in the left field. Can Crump make a play again? He's running, and that ball falls down right in front of the wall and at the warning track. And it's going to be fielded on a hop from Ian Crump, who throws it back into the infield, but that'll be a standing double for Caleb Johnson, who making his first appearance as a Settler, and he is impressing, going 2 for 3 on the day.
Really well hit ball from Johnson. Put that one on the warning track, and Crump able to get over there in time, or that might have been a triple for Caleb Johnson.
So Johnson standing nice and calm on second base, and that'll bring on Austin Davison, who has a fly out to Silva at catcher, and then a fielder's choice that he hit into. As see the first pitch off the mark there for a ball from Jared Oaks, the new pitcher pitching his first inning of the day. We've seen Peck, we've seen Herner, now we're seeing Jared Oaks. That's 3 pitchers used, as going into this weekend, the whole bullpen was available. So it's all about being able to use your arms in the best way, as they'll have another 7-inning game to play. And we've seen a couple of sudden death situations where guys have really come through. We saw Cody Williams go 7 against the Scouts. We also saw a good combination of Walter, Borer, and Beery all do a great job as well in the second game of the doubleheader, as the 1-1 is a ball, so it's 2-1 to Austin Davison. Caleb Johnson on second in a 3-2 game here in the bottom of the 5th inning in favor of the Licking County Settlers, who have led the whole game, as we see the 2-1 pitch inside and low for ball number 3 to Davison. Has got a nice chill crowd here today, just enjoying some baseball and a very nice evening. Can come through after work as we're getting the week started a little bit. It's Monday, and we're seeing some action as the 3-1 pitch on its way from Oaks up high, and we see a juggling catch there from Silva, but it won't matter. That is ball number 4. It's a walk for Austin Davison. So Caleb Johnson on second, Davison on first for the Licking County Settlers, and that'll bring on the bottom of the lineup in Adam Crawford.
The center fielder, number 14, Adam Crawford.
Crawford has a single to center field as well as a fly out to center field back in the bottom of the 3rd inning for out number 3. So 1 down in the inning, Jared Oaks delivers the pitch to the lefty that skips across the ground, but it actually fell. Maybe my vantage point was off. It did not skip across the ground. It was a strike. Yeah, I do. Yeah, Trevor just told me to get glasses. I do have glasses in my backpack. Maybe we'll put those on in the second game, but you don't need glasses for that one to see that one was a strike. Can Jared Oaks pick up out number 2?
Got him chasing one on that outside part of the plate. A little bit of breaking action. So I think that was a slider. That outside part of the plate got him down and away. Tried to go the same thing there as well.
Tempo 2 off the mark this time for ball number 1. So it's 1-2 with Davison on first, Johnson on second for the Licking County Settlers, nursing a 3-2 lead here at home at Big Red Field. Kind of suiting a little bit of the colors of the Settlers, who wear blue, red, and white, as we see the 1-2 pitch outside, as we saw the same type of pitch 3 times in a row, with one of them working, 2 of them not working. Count is 2-2. Sound effects are all on. Adding to that baseball atmosphere as we're in July, the heat of summer. 2 runners on. We see the 2-2 pitch. Swung on and missed for strike number 3. Jared Oaks got him swinging, and down goes Crawford for out number 2.
Nice pitch. Got him chasing one towards that bottom part of the zone. Nice pitch combination from Jared Oaks there. Sebastian Silva able to keep all those in front of him. Hold the runners at second as well.
So we're back all the way to the top of the lineup. We just saw the 9th batter. Now we're on to the 1st batter in the order, Turner Hill, who got it started with a pair of fly outs to left field. Now throws a bunt out into the 3rd base side of foul territory for strike number 1. So the count is 0-1 to Turner Hill, who also has a single on the day, had that single in the 4th to go with his fly outs to Ian Crump at left field. 2 outs in the inning, 2 runners on. Caleb Johnson, the leadoff runner at second. Austin Davison, runner at first. So the count is 0-1 with 2 outs, 3-2 game. Settlers in the lead over the Copperheads. The 0-1 pitch is in for a strike. Good work on the slider. So now the count is 0-2 with 2 outs. Seeing Jared Oaks really work that slider. We've seen him throw that pitch about 4 or 5 times already.
Trying to get him to chase. He knows that they like him down there in the zone. And little bit outside as well.
The 0-2 is going to be chopped right over to Carson Shepard. He fields it on 2 hops and delivers it out to Bam Thomas for out number 3. The Copperheads retire the side, giving up nothing for not the first, not the second, but the 3rd time in a row. Copperheads doing a good job on defense, but will the Bats come back to help them as they are down 3-2 going into the top of the 6th inning? You're listening to Southern Ohio Copperhead Baseball on YouTube. It's the top of the 6th inning here at Denison University with the Copperheads trailing the Settlers 2-3. As the Copperheads looking to try to pull off a big win as they will play this team, the Licking County Settlers, 9 times. They've already played 3, lost the first 3. So they're going to have to start winning some games in this series. As it'll be the top of the order for the Southern Ohio Copperheads. Carson Shepard, Bam Thomas, Kyle Ratliff. They're all going to have to come through here for the Copperheads, down by just 1. They have been doing a good job sticking around in this game. As we see the first pitch from Perone go down low for ball number 1. As it seems like Perone, whenever he misses, it tends to miss low.
Yeah, Perot also working that out, that lower outside, his tongue twister there, lower outside part of the plate. Carson Shepard, a smaller guy. See if he can get him to chase one there.
Another one that's low, this time low and inside. For ball number 2, Carson Shepard had a fly out to center field as well as a single where he tried to get around on a Bam Thomas hit and then was tagged out on a 7-1 play at third base. The 2-0 swung on, chopped over to third base. Ohashi delivers it out in time to Caleb Johnson for out number 1. So Carson Shepard goes out on the 5-3, and then that'll bring on Bam Thomas, who has a ground out as well as a single where he was eventually tagged at home in the 3rd inning, which ended up retiring the side for the Copperheads. He was oh so close from getting home, but the throw was there well in time, and it was no problem making the tag by Austin Davison last time he was up. A run that could have been huge for the Copperheads. We'll see if Bam Thomas can get on base as he takes the first pitch outside for strike number 1. So hitting the outside of the zone there. So the count is 0-1 with 1 out. In the top of the 6th inning, Copperheads trail 2-3 here at Denison. The 0-1, it's going to be hit out into left field, blooped down for a base hit. Good work from Bam Thomas, and he's going to get to first base. Maybe rounds a little bit, but then goes back to first base. He'll pick up a single, as this has been quite a bounce-back day for Bam Thomas after having a couple bad games in a row. He's 2 for 3 today.
Yeah, he has been working himself back into a bit of a groove here, changed a couple of things with his swing, and has started to come into his own now. Started off hot, cooled off, and now starting to heat back up again.
When Bam Thomas is doing well, that's good news for the Copperheads, and that'll bring on Kyle Ratliff as Perone sets on the mound with 1 runner on, delivers the pitch low and outside for ball number 1. So it's 1-0 to Kyle Ratliff, who has a fly out and a double. On that double, Bam Thomas was eventually tagged out at home plate, so didn't get to do much with the double. He'll try to pick up another one this time, as we'll see the 1-0 pitch from Perone. The 1-0 is missing the zone just outside for ball number 2, as these calls are oh so close. Sometimes don't even know whether it's going to be a ball or a strike until the umpire in blue makes his decision. As we'll see a small timeout here. Bam Thomas will tie his shoe on first base, as it is a 3-2 game with one runner on in Bam Thomas at first base. Kyle Ratliff is up, 6 home runs on the year, looking to tie Blaine Crim's record or even exceed it. The 2-0 is going to be in there for a strike. 2-1 count now to number 2, Kyle Ratliff. Ratliff, one of the leaders of this Copperhead squad, and it's very clear whenever you see him out there, just with the way he carries himself and his presence, one of the best guys on the team. 2-1. It's going to be in there for another strike, so that time hitting the lower portion of the zone. Perone able to raise those pitches that he was missing just low, raise them up just enough to get into that strike zone as Perone settles here into his second inning. We'll see the 2-2 pitch with one down in the inning. 3-2 game in favor of the Settlers. Perone deals. And it's outside. It's a pass ball. Bam Thomas jogs his way to second base. No problem. So now it's a full count here to Kyle Ratliff, the 3-2. And we've seen him talk a lot about selfish versus unselfish hits. And this is one of those situations where it's difficult to know which type of hit to go for.
I think if you're the Copperheads here, you want to just continue to grab that momentum slowly by slowly. So whether it's a close pitch, try and take a cut at it, or if it is a little bit outside, just take the walk and show off that speed on the base pads.
Perone fakes like he's going to throw back to second just to keep Bam Thomas honest. And we'll see a huge payoff pitch coming here in the 6th inning, top of the 6th to be exact, and only a 7-inning affair. This is basically equal to the 8th inning. The 3-2. It skips across the ground into the glove for ball number 4. That's a walk as Kyle Ratliff will make his way to first. Bam Thomas at second off the pass ball. And now that'll bring on Josh Steidel, who has come up big for the Copperheads in multiple moments throughout the season, most notably in game number 1, where he hit the game-winning sac fly to go along with a double and a home run that he had in that really exciting game number 1 against the Mariners. So we'll see if Steidel can come through with 2 runners on, 1 out in the top of the 6th inning in a 7-inning game. Game 1 of the doubleheader is it's a high pop fly out to left field. Swanger is there, makes the catch, and the runners stay at first and second base. So Bam Thomas stays at second, Ratliff stays at first. No tag as Steidel goes down on the first pitch for the second time today. And that'll bring on Mason Nadolny, who has a strikeout looking and a fly out. So big point in the game here for Mason Nadolny. We'll see if he can come through for the all-star third baseman who's been absolutely excellent, a model of efficiency on defense. Now he has to match that with the offense. First pitch to Nadolny is right there on the money, right down Main Street for a strike. 0-1 is a count, 2 runners on. 3-2 game in favor of the Licking County Settlers. It's been a phenomenal game as it's been quite competitive, quite low scoring. It's turned into a pitcher's duel after the first 3 innings, as we'll see the pitch that is missing high and off the mark, just inside for ball number 1. So it's 1-1 to Mason Nadolny. The 1-1. It's going to be flown out into right field, but it will go out of bounds for a foul. So, again, if that could have just stayed inside, it would have been a huge hit. Would have definitely scored a runner for the Copperheads to tie it up. But it was just not written in the book. But still, Nadolny is still alive. 1-2 count, 2 outs, 2 runners on. 3-2 game. Copperheads will have only one more chance to go up to bat. It'll be in the 7th inning as we are in the first game of a double header. I'm going to say once again, thank you guys for joining us. So we'll have the 1-2 pitch. Oh, way up high. And, oh, my goodness, Mason Nadolny had to duck out of that one.
Ball came in a weird angle and almost looked like from where we were sitting that Nadolny took it off the helmet, but able to get out of the way in time.
So now the count reads 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs 2 runners on. Copperheads have 2 on the board. Settlers have 3. It's 3-2 here in the top of the 6th inning as Perone delivers the pitch. Swung on and missed. Rough strikeout there for the Copperheads. They needed something, and they leave 2 on base as Nadolny strikes out. Perone coming up big for his squad. As going into the bottom of the 6th inning, the Copperheads will try to keep the score at 3-2 and give themselves a chance to potentially take the lead in the bottom or in the top of the 7th inning. You're listening to Southern Ohio Copperhead Baseball on YouTube. It is the bottom of the 6th inning there, as I almost got ahead of myself, thinking the Copperheads would come back to bat. We'll get one more chance in the top of the 7th inning, but right now it's the bottom of the 6th inning. Jared Oaks still on the mound, delivers the first pitch. Rando is able to pop that one out in the right field, and it is down for a base hit right in front of Ortiz. So good start there for Rando as he picks up the bloop single out in the right field, as it didn't come out with a lot of velocity, but got the job done. So now it's 1 runner on in the bottom of the 6th inning. Copperheads trail 3-2 to the Licking County Settlers. As again, we love the tradition of trivia. We had Andrew Allison, Cade Williamson bring that to our broadcast booth, and we've seen that every now and again with ours. So it'll be interesting to maybe dial that up as we see a swing and miss there from Garth. With 1 runner on, nobody out, bottom of the 6th inning, Copperheads trail 3-2 as Drew Garth has a pair of singles and a ground out to Bam Thomas, who did a great job when the ball was coming at him with a lot of speed. He was able to corral it. As we see another swing and miss there from Garth. So it's quickly 0-2 as it looks like Oaks did a good job of figuring out Garth a little bit, but he's going to have to get that 3rd strike. As again, we're working to the latter portion of the game. Only a 7-inning affair in this doubleheader matchup between the Copperheads and the Settlers. Copperheads, if they want to make the playoffs, they're going to probably have to take both of these. As we see 3 pitches, 3 strikes, you're out, Drew Garth, and that's a big out for the Copperheads here in the bottom of the 6th inning.
Good combination of pitching by Jared Oaks there, and got him swinging in just 3 strikes.
So that's the 2nd strikeout of the day for Jared Oaks, and that'll bring on Logan Swanger, who has a strikeout, a fly out, and a hit by pitch. For the guy who's had the best week out of anybody in the GLSCL, the Copperheads have held him back. But again, this will be a really tough time to stave him off as he fouls off the first pitch there from Jared Oaks for strike number 1. Copperheads trailing 3-2. Looking for win number 12. They have lost 2 straight after winning 4 straight. It was their best streak of the year, where they were able to pick up a series of wins, most notably that doubleheader victory over the Xenia Scouts. As we see the 0-1 pitch swung on and missed. We see that slider once again forcing a batter to swing at it. And Jared Oaks right now seems in control of the game.
Going to have to get back on a type of win streak if, as we've talked about, they do want to make it into the postseason. It will be difficult. The teams are kind of settling in, only playing 1 or 2 different opponents on the year, so not as much room for upward mobility as there was maybe 2-3 weeks ago.
Yeah, certainly running out of time, but there is a little bit of chances of controlling your own destiny. One of those teams in a playoff spot right now is the Licking County Settlers. Copperheads played them 6 times, including this matchup. So it is absolutely pivotal to win game number 4 as the 1-2 is outside, missing the zone for ball number 2. So it is now a 2-2 count here at Denison. Copperheads, it's almost a must-win situation as there's not a lot of time left in this season. Got to win your final 11. The 2-2. It's going to be a deep drive out in the right field, right in front of Ortiz, down for a base hit. Another single out to right field. And see back-to-back ones, or at least 2 out of the last 3 batters have gotten those singles. So Swanger gets his first hit of the day, and that'll bring on Junpei Ohashi, who has 2 walks and a fly out to Maverick Stallings at shortstop. So only 1 down, 2 runners on. Big spot for Oaks. He delivers the first pitch to Ohashi a little bit outside. Tried to get it to break inside to no avail. So 1-0 to Ohashi.
Ohashi, that really nice play on the out from Carson Shepard.
Double steal. And that looks like they got a tag. He is caught stealing. That is Logan Swanger, who was trying to go and work with the double steal by Jack Rando. Rando was able to make it safely to third base, but Logan Swanger was cut off at second. Good work there from the infielders of the Copperheads, as well as Sebastian Silva delivering that ball right where it needed to be. That's 2 down.
Put it right on the line from that catcher position. And again, we've talked about it all year long, but the elite arms of all 3 catchers on this team.
Now the count is 2-1 to Ohashi. With 1 runner on third base now, Jack Rando in a very dangerous scoring position. Copperheads have had to stave off runners at second and third all day today. They weren't able to do it successfully in the first inning, but they've been pretty good at it the rest of the way, and they're going to need to do it again here in the bottom of the 6th inning. There's the pitch, and it's going to skip all across the ground. It's a wild pitch, and right when you couldn't have it, the Copperheads give up a run for the first time since the 2nd inning. So now the score is 4-2 here on the road as Rando comes home on the mistake there on the pass ball.
It's a tough break for the Copperheads. It was a decent pitch from Oaks on that lower outside part of the plate, but that one got away from Silva, and great job by Rando to come in and score on that one.
Yep, Rando stole third base, and it worked out for him getting home and being opportunistic. And now we see another player working off of Copperhead mistakes, Junpei Ohashi, who has his 3rd walk on the day. He's been forcing walks all over the place, and now that brings on Nick Lukac, who has a single out to right field and then a pair of flyouts to Ian Crump at left field. So he'll work with 1 runner on, Junpei Ohashi with 2 outs. Copperheads trail 4-2 now to the Licking County Settlers as Jared Oaks delivers strike number 1 to the shortstop Lukac, as Copperheads now in a little bit of a bind. Still, though, game is not out of reach, down by 2. Still have a couple of talented batters still to work with, but also not the heart of the order for the Copperheads, as Steidel, Nadani, and Ratliff, your 3 guys with the best batting averages, all just bat it. And that'll be their last chance to go at it in the top of the 7th inning. So it can be a struggle here in the bottom of the 6th. It's a bit of a crossroads here for the Copperheads. Again, you'll get doubleheader today, so you'll get 2 games, but it certainly helps to win the first one. We saw the Copperheads do very well in doubleheaders as the runner goes, and now it's going to be a pop fly out in the center field. Ratliff's going to have to run for it, track it, and he makes one heck of a catch. And then it looks like he dropped the ball, and they're going to say he's safe as he flipped backwards, and he had it in his hands, and it bounced out at the last second. It looks like there's going to be some a bit of conversation here as we might have some controversy out on that catch as Ratliff went back to make the catch. He made a somersault, and he had the ball in his hands when he tried to show it to the crowd. It went out of his hands then, and then the umpire called it safe. So on the play, Ohashi scores from his position. Lukac got to second, and as it stands, it's an RBI double for Junpei Ohashi. or for Nick Lukac, or maybe it'll be on error. I think that'll be considered an error if it does go down as a drop.
Looks like Ratliff came back, had the ball in his glove, and then as he was flipping back over to show the crowd that show the umpire rather that he had the ball, it kind of fell out of it, rolled out of the bottom of his glove. So it's a tough situation on that one. Kyle Ratliff, normally not the kind of one that makes that play, but a really tough break for the Copperheads as now another run comes in.
Yep, the score is now 5-2, so Junpei Ohashi scores on the error. Nick Lukac reaches second off of an error. So big mistake from the Copperheads, could not have it, and now we see a pass ball. And the runner's going to keep going as Silva kind of went in there slowly, but then turns around to keep Lukac at third base as the wheels have fallen off here in the bottom of the sixth inning for the Copperheads as they have two runners scoring and one runner on here for Caleb Johnson, who has a single and a double. This is his first game, and he's making one heck of a first impression here as a Licking County settler. He'll have a chance to drive in a runner. Jared Oaks trying to close the door as he'll lace it down into foul territory for strike number one. So the count will be 1-1 to Johnson. For the Copperheads, it's another one of those situations, Tim, where a two-out rally has killed them.
Seen it a couple times, saw it in that second inning, and then now here in the fifth as well. That's 4 runs with 2 outs up on the scoreboard.
1-1 outside for ball number 2, so the count is 2-1.
Desperately just need to halt the momentum of this team, Sedric. Get that final out and allow them to get back into this game.
It'll be Maverick, Stalling, Silva, Ortiz, and Crump, the 4 runners that are the next up in the order here for the Copperheads. As we see the 2-1 missing the zone outside for ball number 3. So good hitters count here for Johnson. And we'll see if Johnson can do it. But Jared Oaks, after starting it off really well, things have started to slip away a little bit. Can he regain control? The 3-1 pitch. Outside, the breaking ball missed. So that's another walk here for the Copperheads. And there'll be runners on the corners. I'd expect a steal attempt here from Caleb Johnson. As, again, you make a throw out to second, you might miss. And then Nick Lukac can come home. That would be the strategy here for the Settlers, up 5-2. Looking to open up the game and make it very difficult for the Copperheads to put together a rally in the opening innings. Whenever you have to stage a rally or come back from behind, the biggest thing is you're going to have to get hits early. Once you give up that first out or that second out, it makes it very difficult for the team to work with it, as we see the first pitch to Austin Davison hit the ground, hit the turf to be exact, 1-0 as we have a half-and-half field. Turf on the infield, grass on the outfield. As Copperheads have had some really bad breaks happen, also had some good breaks to them as well. Can't get a good break, though, on that ball, on that first pitch. So it's ball number 2 to number 8, Austin Davison.
Biggest thing here for Oaks is just continue to throw strikes. 22 strikes to 20 balls on the day. So we'll have to just keep throwing strikes, trying to find the zone, and hope the defense can make a play for out number 3.
And right on cue, Jared Oaks delivers a strike there, so the count is 2-1. As 2 runners are on. Runners on the corners, and Johnson and Lukac. Lukac at third, Johnson at first. There's the pitch, check swing, and they're going to say he did not go. So 3-1 is the count to Davison, who has a fly out to Silva, a fielder's choice, and then also a single on the day. As we see the 3-1 pitch, yet again, it's another walk. And that's going to load up the bases now for the Settlers as the 2-out rally continues.
2 straight walks now for Jared Oaks. All he's got to do is just continue to pound that zone and see if we can get one hit out into the infield or even a fly out into the outfield. And we haven't seen too many balls get past Ian Crump or Kyle Ratliff out there in the outfield. So if we can just get something to put into play, be able to get out of this inning and stop the bleeding before things get out of hand.
Another one of those games where the Copperheads have allowed 10 hits. That's been something that's been very prominent over these last couple of games. Now, overall, they've defensively done a lot better against the Settlers than they've had earlier this season. They've been able to keep the game lower scoring. They've given up at least 11 runs in every single matchup. We see the 5-2 game. We'll see the first pitch here to Adam Crawford, missing the mark for ball number 1. Copperheads almost did form a comeback. They tried to in the 9th inning in game number 2. Copperheads were down by about 9 in that game, if my memory serves me right. And then they were able to come back to make it only an 11-9 loss, as the tying run was on base, was on second base for the Copperheads in that matchup. Josh Steidel was at the focal point of that comeback, as we see the 2-0 pitch out to Crawford. That's going to be right down Broadway this time for a strike. So it's 2-1 with 2 outs, and you have bases loaded here for the Licking County Settlers, looking to open this game up against the Copperheads. As we see the 2-1, it's going to be hit out to Carson Shepard at second base, who fields it on 2 hops, delivers it out to Bam Thomas, and that retires the side. Good work from the Copperheads to retire the side, but not before they could give up a pair of runs. It was Jack Rando coming across on the pass ball and Junpei Ohashi coming across on the error in center field. And the Copperheads now are down 5-2. They'll need 3 runs to tie it, 4 runs to take the lead. It's put up or shut up time here at Denison going into the top of the 7th. You're listening to Southern Ohio Copperhead Baseball on YouTube. It's the top of the 7th inning here at Denison, and the pressure is on here for the Copperheads. They're going to need to at least put up 3 to keep this game going, down 5-2, as the Copperheads will work against Perone. It's Maverick Stallings, Sebastian Silva, Diego Ortiz, 6, 7, 8 batters here for the Copperheads. Can they do it? Can they make a comeback? It'll take a lot of momentum, and it'll take a hit more than likely here from Maverick Stallings, but he takes strike number 1 there from Perone. As the Copperheads, they could not afford to give up 2 runs in that bottom of the 6th inning. It really hurt them. And now the deficit is at 3. It's not impossible. The word impossible says I'm possible, as there's a hit right out to shortstop Nick Lukac. Puts his glove down there, makes the catch with his left hand for out number 1. And whenever you're trying to stage a rally, it's really tough to not do something with it when you can't get a hit right out the gate.
Be Clayton Hodges coming in.
So Clayton Hodges checks into the game. We have some confusion here in the press box as he's rocking the number 13 jersey, as the alternate jersey switched up the numbers a little bit, as we'll try to do our best here. But Clayton Hodges, he's batted .313 over the last 7 days. He'll try to come through for the Copperheads in his pitch hitting situation. He's pinch hitting here for Sebastian Silva, and he takes the first pitch off the mark for ball number 1. So it's a 1-0 count with nobody on, 1 out in the top of the 7th inning. This is the final inning of the game, as we have a doubleheader here today, as there's going to be blooped out into right field, and the catch is made from Turner Hill. That's 2 down. Copperheads down to their final out, and that'll bring on Diego Ortiz. Ortiz playing in his last game as a Copperhead. He'll be back at UAB starting tomorrow. So we'll see a lot of Ortiz coming up here, as it'll be a big moment in the season for him, as Again, we have 2 outs. It is a 5-2 game in favor of the Settlers. It's a 7-inning affair. So if Ortiz is out, this game is over. Perone pitches his way up high there. Tried to get a little bit of a curve down on that pitch. Did not work out for him. So the count is 1-0 to Ortiz, who has a pair of walks on the day. It's another one of those games where the Copperheads not even through the 3rd time on the order, while we're seeing the whole order of the Settlers batting at least 4 times, which is never a recipe for success. So the count is 2-0 with 2 outs. Copperheads trail 2-5. Diego Ortiz up to bat here. Let's see the 2-0 pitch. It's going to be inside for ball number 3. So
Ortiz with 2 walks on the day already. Going to be critical here to continue to work that count and try to get on base.
Ortiz has not seen a strike thrown his way. As we'll see the 3-0 pitch. Going to be chopped backwards. So that is the first strike that he's registered today, as he's had quite a day just forcing bad pitches, forcing pitches off the mark for Ortiz, as it is now a 3-1 count with 2 outs, nobody on. Copperheads on their last leg here, their last little breath. We'll see if the Copperheads can put together a 2-out rally to end all 2-out rallies. As we'll see a walk there, that's good. That will put Ortiz on first. And now we'll see if the Copperheads can get a 2-out rally going. It'll be Ian Crump coming up, who's hitting to a fielder's choice and hitting to a double play. If he can get on base, you have the top of the order with Carson Shepard, Bam Thomas, Kyle Ratliff, Josh Steidel all coming up. Got some really impressive bats, but it starts here with Ian Crump. Can Ian Crump get on to get Ortiz to second and Ian Crump to first? We'll see. Perone delivers the first pitch. It's going to be low and inside for ball number 1. As we've seen Perone throw a couple of balls here. He's had a couple of chances here to maybe end off the inning with a strike or 2, but so far the Copperheads have been forcing him to miss a little bit. As we'll see Perone deliver the 1-0 pitch. That time it's going to hit the inside of the zone for strike number 1. As we've seen pitchers sometimes have to come out of the game in the final inning. We saw that in game number 2 between these two teams. Logan Swanger had to come in and save the day as the pitcher and close out the 11-9 win. As we'll see the 1-1 pitch on its way to Ian Crump. The 1-1 is going to be hitting the top part of the zone for strike number 2. As Ian Crump, the man from South Dakota, looking to try to keep this game alive. He has Ortiz on first base. It's a big moment here for Ian Crump. Perone sets up on the mound. And we see the 1-2 pitch. It's going to be outside and inside and up high for ball number 2. So the count is 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Copperheads have 2 runs, and they're down 5-2 against the Licking County Settlers. Settlers looking for win number 17 and they take the top spot back in the division. The 2-2, it's going to be a drive out in the center field. It's going back towards the track, and the play is made, and that's the end of the game. Adam Crawford closes it out, and the Licking County Settlers are back in the driver's seat in the division. The Settlers now move up to 17-12, and with their tiebreaker over the Hamilton Joes, they are up back into top of first place here in the GLSCL South. Copperheads continue their free fall, now losing 3 straight. And for the playoffs, the hopes are getting lower and lower, Tim, of being able to make a rally to get back, as we're getting to the stage where you can mathematically get eliminated here in the next 4 or 5 games.
We'll have another game tonight with the opportunity to kind of remake up the ground that happened here. But, yes, Sedric, you're absolutely right. These next couple of games, they're going to have to put something together before elimination. And that way they can at least stay competitive throughout these games and at least make teams like the Licking County Settlers or even the Cincinnati Steam make it difficult for them to get in, maybe play spoiler a little bit to those teams as well.
Yeah, really embracing that spoiler mindset and just having fun. That's something that Coach Lanning talked about yesterday. So we'll see if the Copperheads can continue to have fun, continue to enjoy it, and maybe pull off that upset, maybe that sneaky win. Who knows? It could be in the next game against the Settlers. That's the best thing about a doubleheader. If you lose the first round, you can still come back and try to win the second one. This is the first time that the Copperheads have lost a game in the start of a doubleheader. They've won all their game ones in doubleheader matchups so far this season, but not anymore as they fall to the Settlers, as the Settlers and Copperheads have faced each other 9 times this season. Settlers are already up 4-0 in the series and can win the series already in game number 5 when we come back. So once again, thank you guys for joining us here at Denison University. We'll be back real soon with game number 2 between the Copperheads and the Settlers. Once again, Copperheads lose game 1 to the Settlers 5-2. You're listening to Southern Ohio Copperheads Baseball on YouTube. So we'll be starting a new stream coming up in game number 2 as the Copperheads will face the Settlers in game 29 of the season. For Sedric, Granger, and Tim Hanna, appreciate you guys joining us. Once again, Copperheads lose this game 5-2.